Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Yusef Dunbar and this is Big Discussions 76 Sports. First of all, please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. Well guys, I just wanted to shoot a short reaction video to Michigan's 42-3 victory over Iowa last night in Indianapolis. Wow, it's hard to believe. Yeah, the Wolverines are Big Ten champs, and they are college football playoff bound. And I'm going to talk about that at the end. But before I get started, I want to acknowledge 2 subscribers, and I thought about this last night as I was laying down after the game. I want to shout out and salute Dre Ellerby and also James Lepick. Those 2 guys. Now I know my subscriber base is a mixture of Michigan fans, and there are some Buckeye fans out there as well as, and there are some other Michigan detractors. But despite what happened, despite the tumultuous 2020 year, Dre and James have been faithful Wolverine supporters, and while some of us were going into this season thinking that this would be a rebuilding year and that this might be a 500 team and they might have 3 losses, I have to give it to Dre and James. They were all in for every game, and they thought that we had a chance to win every game. So salute to you guys, and salute to the other subs who were all in for the Wolverines this season. So with that, let's jump in to my analysis of last night's game. So winning the Big Ten title on the football field. I think I pointed this out in my my last live stream before I brought Johnny Olden up. I'm thinking back to Brady Hoke's press conference and what that would have been 2011, and Drew Sharp, who was a bit of a Michigan troll who worked for the Free Press. You can find this on YouTube. He actually asked Brady, every other program is focusing on winning the national title, but Michigan seems to only be focused on winning the Big Ten title. And Brady Hoke, in typical Brady Hoke fashion, said, "Yeah, well, we're focused on winning the Big Ten, and we feel like if we win the Big Ten, then everything else will work itself out." So it did, only 10 years later, and that's what Jimbo and his young coaching staff and his young Wolverines were faced with going into Indianapolis last night. If they could just win this game, then they would be in the college football playoff, and there would be no speculation and no wrangling and haggling from other coaching staffs about who should be in and who shouldn't. They just had to take care of business, and they would be in, and they did. And the reason this mattered, we were also happy after the Ohio State victory last week, but we might have gotten that victory, but getting that victory and not getting into the playoff would have been a bit of a stain on the season. And I think that all of us really wanted this outright Big Ten title, and that's what we got. So salute to Jimbo, his young coaching staff, and his young team for what they did and how they just shocked everybody, including some of us in the fan base this season. So winning that game mattered. So just very quickly, I'm going to give a brief analysis of the game. I was nervous early on. We went up 14-3 behind that Blake Corum run, and then that Donovan Edwards halfback pass down to Roman Wilson, I believe. And when you see that, you see us go up by 14 points. You're thinking, okay, we're putting our feet on their necks. We're going to crush the Hawkeyes. We're going to break their will. And I think the Hawkeyes, well, they only scored 3 points for the whole game. But knowing it's a Kirk Ferentz coached team, and knowing that his teams are fundamentally sound, and knowing that he usually has a team full of well-trained veterans. You know, the camera keeps flashing back to Kirk Ferentz, and he's sitting there chewing his gum, and I was just waiting for something to happen. I was waiting for us to either throw the knockout punch in that first half, or I was waiting for Iowa to make its run. Cade threw an interception early on, reminiscent of the Ohio State game, but also our offensive unit in our standard packages, we weren't moving the ball really well. And so the longer that first quarter went on, the longer that second quarter went on, I was just thinking, okay, Iowa might make a run. But it seemed as though they only had that Laporta tight end kid, and they really couldn't get much done offensively, which I think is part of why that game turned out the way that it did. But yeah, for much of the game, I was sitting there just waiting and just kind of clutching my seat and waiting for Iowa to make a run, which fortunately never came, and they had to make that quarterback change as well. Speaking of Iowa's offensive production, in my pregame analysis with Johnny Olden, if you go back, I did look at the statistics, and I think that the way this game unfolded, it's pretty much what those statistics showed us. Both teams had stout defenses. Okay, our offense was more productive. I think Ohio State had the number one offense in our conference, but Iowa was down there at number 11. So you had two stout defenses, a competent functional offense, and you had a not so competent functional offense. And I think that's what we saw in the game. Iowa just couldn't get anything done. I mean, I don't want to call their offensive unit and coaching staff inept, but they just couldn't get much done even after they changed their quarterback from Petrus to Padilla in that second half. So the stats and our predictions pretty much played out. So Cade played a Cade game. He had that early turnover, but afterwards, and it wasn't a turnover where he threw into coverage. It was him throwing behind Eric All, and the ball bouncing out of, or ricocheting out of Eric All's hands into that linebacker's hands. And there were a couple of throws like that. And as I was watching, I was thinking, okay, if we win this game, how are we going to do against Georgia? How are we going to do against Alabama? Will this be enough? Iowa, as the statistics predicted, or as the statistics showed, they were very stout against the run. So Hassan didn't really get the runs that he got against Ohio State. And I think Mike McDonald's adjustment was key. And that right there is important because Mike McDonald adjusted. And credit to Coach Harbaugh for hiring him. Credit to Coach Harbaugh for hiring him because, as I discussed in my live stream with Johnny Olden, Don Brown was going to stick with his Viper, which essentially was a lot like Buddy Ryan's 46 defense, where you crowd the box and blitz on every play. And he probably would not have made the adjustment that Mike McDonald made, which was bringing the linebacker down to stop Iowa's bootleg, which they were trying to get off of their running game. So salute to Mike McDonald for making that adjustment. But it just seemed like a total team effort. And as I was thinking about shooting this video, I realized that this Michigan team, this may be the way that this team wins. Playing defense, solid special teams, and then on the offensive side, you're not turning the ball over, but you're also cobbling together plays from the running game. You're cobbling together timely passes from Cade McNamara, a gadget play here and there from now Donovan Edwards, and now you're putting in J.J. McCarthy from time to time. So that might be the mix for this team. It's not a standard pro-style quarterback dropping back, throwing for 300, 400 yards every game with the running game complementing it. It's kind of a cobbling. Cobble is the best word I could use right now. We're kind of piecing this and this and this together to get the points. and to get the productivity that you need. And late in the game, Cade seemed to catch fire a little bit. He had that nice touchdown pass to Eric All. Eric All made the one-handed grab, and he had that nice completion to Schoonmaker, which set up the Hassan Haskins run. So it wasn't a pretty game throughout, and as I was watching it, I had to realize that this is a championship game. Iowa's not a cupcake. They're not a pushover. They might be a little bit offensively challenged, but they do play defense. They're fundamentally sound, and they're not just going to come in here and roll over for our team. So I think that's it. It wasn't always pretty, but that's what it was. And our team had enough talent, and our coaching staff was savvy enough to call a great game and position us for that 42-3 victory. So guys, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Since I've been following Michigan football, this is the second outright Big Ten title I've experienced and I've seen. I got to the university in 1999, and the Wolverines won it in 2003. That was John Navarre and Chris Perry's last season. But since then, before then, and since then, no, this is I haven't seen any other outright Big Ten title. So this was great. This was good to see. And so what's next? Well, we've got the college football playoff, and from what I'm hearing, the committee set up the brackets so that Alabama's number one, and they're gonna open up against Cincinnati, who's seeded number 4. So Alabama's seeded number 1, Cincinnati's seeded number 4, and the Wolverines are seeded number 2, and the Georgia Bulldogs are seeded number 3. So, but that's going to be in another video. Expect that as we get closer and closer to the playoff, expect some videos on the college football playoff. The Wolverines' first trip to the college football playoff. So for our fan base, hey, enjoy this. Very few of us expected this at the beginning of the season. Congrats once again to Jimbo, the Harbaugh family, the coaching staff, everybody over there at Schembecker Hall, and to all of the student athletes. Thank you for this season. Thank you for silencing the many naysayers. There were so many people after Jim's head. I mean, not just, I think it went to a crescendo last season, but before that, there were so many critics, so many detractors, so many people after his head. And thank you for this, and congratulations. And let's look forward to the college football playoff. So let me know what you think in the comments section below. Please like, share, and subscribe if you want to throw something in the tip jar. That information is below this video as well. Go blue, and as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.